Welcome to Daniel's Challenge. In this presentation, we will begin by introducing Daniel and will then explore the dietary patterns of today's healthiest populations. As you watch this presentation, seek to identify the 3 dietary principles that sustain Daniel's extraordinary health and wisdom. These same dietary principles can serve to enable your best health. They are the basis for Daniel's Challenge. Daniel was an Israelite who was taken into Babylonian captivity in 605 BC. Because of his strength and wisdom, he was chosen to become a counselor to the king. Daniel proposed the first nutritional trial in history when, after becoming a palace resident, he found the food given to him did not enable the strength and wisdom he was accustomed to. Daniel asked the keeper of the slaves if he and his friends could eat according to their own customs. The keeper agreed to allow them to do so, provided their health remained equal to or better than the health of other slaves. As they drank water instead of wine, and ate fresh fruits, vegetables, dates, and pulse instead of the king's meat, it soon became apparent that when allowed to eat according to their own customs, Daniel and his friends were stronger, more active, and wiser than other slaves. Consequently, they were allowed to eat as desired indefinitely. What does this account of Daniel have to do with you? Between 1909 and 1960, only 1 in 6 Americans was overweight. Today, 4 in 5 people are overweight. Let's take a look at how Americans became supersized. Meat and fat intake each rose from less than 20% caloric intake to over 40%. Cheese and soda intake rose 500%. Sugar intake rose from 5 pounds to 135 pounds per person per year. Salad and cooking oil intake rose 1,300%. Consumption of fresh garden produce is down from nearly 70% intake to less than 7%. Grain consumption is down 100 pounds per person per year. Harmful additives were added to the food supply, and the average caloric intake rose 460 calories per person per day. At the same time our diet worsened, we became increasingly sedentary. Today, 60 to 80% of Americans are overweight. 80 million are clinically obese. Cardiovascular disease affects 80% of the population. 30% of Americans suffer from cancer. 50% of adults over the age of 60 suffer from osteoporosis, and diseases are multiplying at unprecedented rates. Let's compare U.S. and Asian health. The Asian rate of obesity is less than 1% compared to our 30%. Their rate of cancer is less than 2% compared to our 30%. Their rate of osteoporosis is less than 1%. Ours is greater than 10%. They experience less than 1/10 the rates of nearly every disease when compared to the U.S. rates of the same diseases. Let's look at the eating pattern attributed to their success. This chart lists foods according to nutrient density or nutritional strength. Asians center food choices on foods in the green area, which provide the greatest nutritional strength. Depending upon the province of Asia, Asians consume 75 to 90% of their calories from fruits, grains, and vegetables, compared to our 7%. They consume less than 10% of their calories from animal-based foods, compared to our 42%. And less than 15% from refined and processed foods, compared to our 51%. The average American consumes 93% of his calories from the red area of the chart, where nutritional strength is poor and metabolic burden is great. Asians as a whole are a slender people because they consume foods that provide sufficient volume to trigger satiation within a Stay Slim caloric budget. If you want to be slim, center 75 to 90% of your food choices in the green area, where you will consume sufficient volume to trigger satiation and the natural cessation of eating before you exceed a Stay Slim caloric budget. If you consume 93% of your calories from foods in the red area, like most Americans, it will be impossible for you to eat enough food to trigger satiation before breaking the caloric bank. To achieve satiation within a Stay Slim caloric budget, center food choices on fruits, vegetables, and grains. Minimize the use of high-calorie foods such as sugar, oil, processed and refined foods, animal-based foods, and overt fats. Finally, let's look at digestive ease and your vitality. Fruits require 2 to 3 hours to fully enter the bloodstream from the stomach. By comparison, vegetables, grains, and beans require about 5 to 6 hours, and meat and fats require 8 to 12 hours if you don't overeat. Cut digestive burdens in half and experience greater vitality by minimizing the intake of meat and fats. In review, foods in the green area of the nutrient density chart most easily sustain metabolic nutritional needs. They also turn off the hunger drive within a Stay Slim caloric budget, and they minimize digestive burdens, enabling greater vitality. As you eat like Daniel, you too will enjoy your vitality potential, enabling you to make a greater difference in the world. We invite you to read Original Fast Foods. It shares the health story of our nation. It discusses food politics and how they undermine your health. It shares the science of diet and helps dispel common dietary confusion. It also shares the eating patterns of today's healthiest populations, and it presents Daniel's Challenge. Finally, we offer online support and help you get started with our Quick Start program. This includes important achievement tools, show me how videos of meal plans and recipes, weekly support articles, and a members-only forum for discussing Daniel's Challenge. When you subscribe to the online membership, you will receive Original Fast Foods and your first month's online support for just $27. It then costs $2.97 per month to continue your membership, and you can cancel at any time. Thank you for listening to this presentation. We invite you to subscribe to Daniel's Challenge membership today.